Adriana Paz, General Secretary of the International Domestic Workers Federation, the first global union federation founded and led by women from the Global South, representing 88 domestic workers' unions and organizations in 68 countries around the world. Globally, there are 75.6 million paid domestic workers who since slavery times have been fulfilling the care needs of societies under substandard employment conditions without recognition for their labor and without adequate social, economic, and labor protections. Domestic workers provide direct and indirect care in private households, representing 25% of the care workers globally. It is very clear then that paid domestic workers are care workers and that this sector is a fundamental pillar of the care workforce and of the economy at large. In a global average, about 76% of domestic workers are women, and about 12 million are migrant domestic workers that participate in the so-called global care chains. Their labor ensures the daily functioning of individuals, families, communities, and entire nation states. But beyond that, in the absence of adequate national care systems and public care policies, their labor subsidizes and solves the care needs of the population, responsibility that should lie on the states and not at the expense of the labor exploitation of migrant domestic workers. Their labor allows other women to participate in the labor market, hence contributing to the national and global GDPs. Also, the remittances sent by migrant domestic workers also contribute to the national GDPs of their countries of origin. Despite this immense contribution to the economy and to the reproduction and maintenance of societies, migrant domestic workers are still regarded as low-skilled and even unskilled workers, placing them at the margins and further perpetuating social exclusion, racial and economic injustice. Government-sponsored guest programs operate from a neoliberal economic approach rather than a rights-based approach to labor migration, stripping migrant workers from their fundamental labor rights and human rights. For almost a century, the organized domestic workers movement have been demanding rights and recognition for their labor. They have been mobilizing for their agency and dignity. The ILO Convention 189 of Decent Work for Domestic Workers was adopted in 2011, and it is a powerful international instrument to create working conditions, pathways to formalization, professionalization, and protection to migrant domestic workers. But even beyond, C189 is also a testament of the struggle of the global domestic workers movement to place care as a human right, to receive care and to provide care under decent working conditions. Today, we call governments to ratify and to implement this convention to ensure that basic labor rights are covered and to put domestic workers in equal conditions in relation to other workers in other occupations. Lastly, rebuilding the social organization of care, it means to bring together the root causes of forced migration due to the climate disasters, war and political conflicts, the increasing closing of the civic space, and the destruction of national economies due to the neoliberal regimes and post-colonial relations. Under the framework of the 5 Rs, we demand recognition, reduction, redistribution, rewarding, and representation of paid domestic workers to achieve decent working conditions through social dialogue and to collective and sectoral bargaining. Nothing for us without us.